To be fair, it'd be impossible for you to do alone. I wouldn't believe that if it came from anyone else. This rumbling insanity about it could have been silenced overnight. Everything that could have been done had been done. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of World End Economica. Everything that could be thought up had been thought up. My name is Fudce. There's nothing left to do but to pray to God. It reeked of the same smell as a place that I thought I'd never want to return to 4 years ago. Just now, I can't be both Susie Wu and Eleanor Schweitzer. The mountain of an analog data in the office. That room with no electricity, because it was more effective to think with it about it on. The office was probably as rustic as it came, because it was the last lifeline she had to keep her from losing herself. Certainly, I understand the absurdity of what I'm asking you. Under normal circumstances, I should have employed a specialist in that field. An accountant, or a professor of accounting. However, I cannot trust them. You can't trust them? Is it because we're on Avalon's side? It occurred to me just moments later. But someone like you, holding a dream far greater than mine. Eleanor clenched her hand, holding her skirt. Felt as if that hand were grasping onto my own heart. I beg you, lend me your strength. Eleanor then hung her head low. Playing a game with another's money in a happy-go-lucky workplace. Up until a few hours ago, that's what I thought this had been. The ties I made with people 4 years ago hadn't disappeared at all. They were still attached in new ways I never realised. They had dragged me out into this place. But then I recalled a photo of Barton hung on the wall. In that moment, it felt like I'd been struck behind my eyes. Those were definitely not tears of regret. Unbelievably, it brought back so many memories that I felt like crying. If Avalon were praised as a hero challenging diamond industry, then how grand was the struggle of this one little girl trying to uncover the injustices of that enormous conglomerate. For that purpose, she had pleaded with me for help, and she said it was because I, like her, had once had a preposterous dream. Then, after making irrevocable mistakes, that was his only way for him to recover. That made me believe was a descendant of no birth was serious. A room was a reflection of its owner's heart. But looking at this room, it was painfully obvious how Eleanor was feeling inside. The irrevocable I shall evoke. This hand, this power, and your help. Saying the end of this journey would be a revelation of justice. My chest hurts and aches, but at the same time I feel like I was going to burst out laughing. I'm sure Hagana felt the same way when I told her about my dream. If so, then what must I do? What have I learned in these last 4 years? I blew all my money. The city where we lived was gone. My dear Hagana was gone. But there is something I have left. It's quite an absurd dream. She looked up with a gasping face when I said that. That noble lady's face seemed to say that if that were true, we'd have gone our entire lives without becoming connected. But Eleanor had followed those I connected with 4 years ago, and appeared in front of me. What were left were people and connections. All of that took the form of Eleanor standing in front of me. And what appeared before me from those connections 4 years ago was a girl with a kind of dreams I thought I'd never see again. Back then, Hagana had held my hand, so I extended my right hand out over the desk. This could be the same thing extended to me 4 years ago. It was a wide room, so there was a bit of a distance. Eleanor hesitated, looking at my hand, then still clutching her skirt. She took 4 steps forward. Then she took my hand firmly in hers. To be fair, she's never looked more beautiful in that picture. A confident, outstretched hand. Good evening. It's time for Schrödinger Street Weekly Overview with Richie Garrett. How's everyone fared during another volatile week of a market? Gains, loss, the news you want on the stocks you need, price movements, market highlights, and the bottom line. Let's take a look. Before we get to that, we have a special guest to introduce. Today's guest is head analyst from a prestigious investment firm, Platinum Smith, Susie Wu. Thunderous applause, cue camera, and from the smoke she appeared, her platinum blonde hair pinned into an intimidating updo. Susie Wu, her skinny dress pants, designer glasses and thick pink lipstick. One hand was full of documents, while the other was most constantly on her hip. Those glasses made her distressed face appear more confident. Frankly, I couldn't believe it was Eleanor. Thanks for taking out time for your busy schedule today. Your hair sure is shooting up today, just like the stocks. Richie Garrett, in his gold suit, purposely pointed his mic up towards her hair. Susie Wu shrugged her shoulders and the audience laughed. Anyway, glad to have you here today. So today we'll be spending the next 60 minutes with popular analyst Susie Wu. Let's look on with investment tools in hand. As they spread her arms out dramatically, the camera panned over the entire studio. The cartoon character stock market charts danced around, and it switched over to a gaudy CG intro. I then muted the sound and pushed the display off to the side, taking out my investing tool. There was a single brand listed. Security number 3227. Ticker symbol Avalon. Umbrella Energy Corporation, Avalon. Previous day's stock price was 622 mils, up 1.2. By trade volume it was in third, first being Emerald, second being Pharmaceutical Company, which has had its patent for protein structural determination software approved. You can go so far to say their financial situation was in a tip-top shape. But it's not hard to imagine it was still in development. Debt is nothing more but a manicure for growth. There's no time to hold internal reserves, they say. The main profit from the energy trading department and sporting services profits follow after that. The energy trading department was just that, a department for trading energy stocks. That just happened to be the department Eleanor mentioned before, one that didn't discuss in details. There were nothing but suspicions about Avalon if it was a company producing and selling energy. But they were founders of the energy trading market, where everyone could purchase the electricity flowing throughout the moon. Avalon collected brokerage fees from people, but also seemed to have done trades itself and made a rather large profit. It's hard to tell how much was from electricity company profits and how much was from their gambling earnings. Earnings outside the company's main function are recorded in separate financial statements, and Avalon had done the same itself, but Eleanor saw there were discrepancies in them. Basically, she suspected there was someone who was using electricity trading markets as a cover for padding their sales and profits. With that in mind, I tried looking for electricity trading market. First, production of electricity on the lunar surface became a free industry, where anyone could produce and sell electricity. Production is fine. The arduous task of delivering that energy to customers falls on generator suppliers. Thus, with Avalon having the most transmission facilities available, they developed the energy trade market. Energy producers sold futures there, meaning the amount of energy produced each month was predetermined. Buyers purchased those futures, and Avalon transmitted the energy. It was all rather simple up to this point, but the problem was electricity prices aren't stable. While the mode of energy production was mostly solar, and the amount generated was fixed, the movement of people in development on the moon was intense, causing fluctuation in demand between areas. Then, by supply not meeting on demand, there was a shift in prices. As well, there was a shift in price. It always brings forth an investing function. Within Avalon stock market, it brought in a flurry of individuals well unrelated to electricity production or distribution who just gambled on the price fluctuations of energy. It wasn't that hard to smell a rat when Avalon was doing trades in the market itself. It would be the same if the owners of a casino played with slots in their own store and won big. Hard not to cast doubt on them. However, as long as Avalon itself was not controlling the demand for electricity, thus changing the prices, it was difficult to indict the wrongdoers. As industrial scale stores of electricity were impossible to keep, they couldn't raise the price by choice. Avalon had given this explanation when confronted with suspicions of others. They did make a point there though, I thought. But you're not. They were just in the same boat regarding the future prices. One could just play it off as a trade being really good. Then Avalon built energy production and transmission infrastructure, the money gained, sending out even more electricity through the lunar surface, and improving the movement of the energy trading market even further. Then Avalon built energy production and transmission infrastructure, the money gained, sending out even more electricity throughout the lunar surface, improving the movement of the energy trading market even further. Everything progressed smoothly, or perhaps it could be because it was progressing too smoothly. People like Eleanor had grown suspicious. That's a basic overview of it. First, Eleanor doubted the accounts because Avalon had enough motive to be able to do something about it. After Eleanor's company went under, been bought up by other companies and ended up being part of Avalon. But it seems that payment of accounts at that time wasn't done with Avalon's liquid assets, but with stocks of its own company. It's not strange to use stocks instead of liquid assets to buy out a company. After all, the side receiving those stocks may or may not make more money off of them in the future. Besides selling the stocks, it could settle things like using up liquid assets. Eleanor's company was in the black, yet it went under without liquid assets. So it stands to reason that people would want Avalon to maintain its high stock price, regardless of it buying up one company after the other. They did have a motive to pad sales or profits for the sake of using the electricity trade market as cover. I interlocked my fingers behind my head as I sat in my chair. But this wasn't just connecting the numbers from the trades or numbers using my stock investment tool. It smelled like a story right out from the real world. It had been 1 week since I'd shaken Eleanor's hand in that hotel. It seemed like she really was working rather hard and hadn't gone back to the office in Schrödinger Street much at all. I say seen because I holed myself in my dorm after quitting my government job, and I'd been busy taking care of all the paperwork involved, so I hadn't popped in the office so much. Also, we were further in the real estate market. I hadn't been able to find a house in range and ended up staying in Reese's church. The smell of Reese welcomed me with at the gate, combined with her saying something about how it would guide the flock down the new path, made my nose twitch. Chris, being Chris, didn't even try to hide her glee. But I hadn't said I quit my government job to grapple with his problems seriously. It seems like Chris wasn't aware that Glaive Goldshower was Barton. It stated that an Avalon CFO was stationed on Terra, and at once had been inside of her headquarters. Using all money and connections at her disposal, it seemed that Eleanor had come to a conclusion that Barton was Glaive while she was investigating Avalon. That's why Chris had no clue at all. At most, Chris knew that Jack Varney was Barton Klasweisen. Eleanor didn't seem to have told Chris of her true intentions. She was probably so selective about who she tells because she realised how megalomaniacal her goal was. Even if that flowchart in my hotel room was the true account of what happened, and saying we should overthrow them because their finances are suspicious, no matter how you phrase it, it seems pretty out there. Normally, things could be summed up as her being delusional. Eleanor probably assumed I'd take this on seriously, because I once tried pursuing a dream as fantastical as hers. Either that, or her begging me to lend her strength was just a really roundabout way of speaking. I wanted someone to believe I was serious. There's a possibility about that point. I took Eleanor's hand because I wanted to lend her my assistance. There's no questioning that. But also, if it all did turn out to be nothing more than a paranoid assumption, I didn't want to leave her out by herself. I knew all too well that what catastrophic results could occur when you delve too deep into something, and how narrow one's vision became. So, putting Chris aside, I wasn't sure if I should tell Reese or not. At this point, though, if I told her nothing, that's because, while Eleanor certainly had intense fervour, she's not the type of person who would lose sight of herself. She laid out her dream to me completely. It felt like it would be rather rude to discuss with someone else, that she might be a bit nutty. So that's why I stayed in Reese's church, and I hadn't uttered a word about Eleanor. Also, I still hadn't touched on investing. Or just adding up in brands and manually improving Chris's data, spending the rest of my time looking into Avalon. During one such occasion, the door leading to the corridor opened. I lifted my head, looked in that direction. It was Chris. She had meat and vegetables rolled up into 2 burritos in one hand. It was a good cheap stand near a church. I got 'em. Yeah. Turned off a stream and stock market financial report, then standing up from my chair, I poured out some coffee. So, where's Risa gone off to? At her kindergarten. She seems she's been teaching there lately. Kindergarten. Guess she really has turned into a matron. Apparently she's well liked. She said when she tries to leave, they pull on her robe so she can't. You don't go? Chris had donated much more than enough to Risa, but she was still helping out managing the church. I was certain she'd be helping out there as well, but Chris gave a tired laugh. I don't know why, but I'm picked on when I go there. They pull my hair and don't listen to a thing I say. Left from Chris to a cup of coffee in my hands. It's rather easy to imagine the scene of Chris being picked on by a bunch of kindergarten kids. It's probably a pack behaviour stuff. I could probably sniff out the low ranks instinctively. Animals, yeah, that's right, animals. It really was like that. Sitting in a chair, sighing, she drooped her shoulders a bit and chomped down on a burrito. Prestige Chris received from being accepted into Luna City University only applied to civilized society. It's rather mysterious that there was a place that existed where how incredible she was on weekdays. That program running fully autonomously and earning vast sums of money while she was yawning away meant nothing at all. So, when's that from? I asked that as I picked up some of the shredded meat that spilled out since it was too difficult to focus on trying to keep it from falling out in the first place. It goes from 2 PM. Should make it even if we took our time. Chris had a tiny mouth and tiny hands, yet somehow she could handle that burrito skillfully without anything spilling. But she wasn't able to keep the sauce from splotching around her mouth. I stared at it and started to feel like I was watching a squirrel eating in the wild. You really coming? I don't think there's anything interesting there for you to see. That's not true. I think going to a den would be really educational, since we pride ourselves on being carnivores. Chris said she wanted to be like Barton, but the way she was eating her burrito was a far cry from carnivorous. But over there, the place we're talking about could be undoubtedly called a den of carnivores. And in Eleanor's words, it was a tower of falsehood built with lies and deception. I'm rather surprised myself. Really? Yeah, if you ask me, it never seemed like you'd be interested in companies like Avalon. Their profits are increasing, their sales are soaring, we're upscaling, but always improving, and so of course their stock value goes up. All you need to do is buy Avalon and go to sleep. Well, even if you were to make money on betting on them, it's not really a brand to boast about to others. Right. We were heading to your Avalon corporate seminar. Not a seminar for job seekers, but one for corporate investors, focused specifically on personal stock ownership. Held practically weekly, it was to show traces of Avalon's success on the moon, as well as to make know how intensely it was going to grow on them, and so others hold their stocks in the long term. That seems to be a goal. I can understand it from a PR standpoint. It certainly improved their public image. There are brands that held plant tours often, especially food-related brands. In an email Eleanor said yesterday, in the case of Avalon, they had yet another face. Avalon stated they were a general energy trading firm, but they were just an electric company. They were a company that was founded about the same time as energy shortage on the moon. Made more money the higher cost of electricity went, so the temperature on the lunar surface went down, the company heated up. They faced a lot of criticism, so keeping these critics in mind was part of their strategy to keep their image as good as possible. I couldn't blame them. But they're still a company that embodies a success of befitting the moon. On the moon, I'd like to see that in person. I'd like to see what trading room in person too. The one said to be the tallest in the world. It cost 200 million, right? If you include the salaries of the traders working there, it's said to cost more per cubic metre than anywhere else, even on Terra. The greatest minds in the tallest place. Does it make you excited? Such a lunar way to be. Chris spoke cheerfully with just a dab of chili sauce from his corner of her mouth. Then again, Avalon was as popular as it was because it was in a place like that. Sure does. Chris tilted her head to the side and giggled. An intelligent, Lunarian girl. I finished up eating my burrito before looking at my display. And you can finish up looking at your display now because I'm going to end the episode here. As ever, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.